Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday night Anamkara meditation program. And with all my heart and with all my love, I welcome you to our program this evening. Tonight is the chanting night, so we'll be able to really get immersed in chanting the names of the divine. And so glad you're able to join us with that. And, when you come, you're bringing all the power of your practices, the power of your intention, and most importantly, the power of your presence. Your presence is the presence of the divine. And so that is your true nature. That's the true nature of all beings. And so when we can gather together and sort of pull aside the veil and be in a place and a time where we can recognize that for ourselves and for each other. And then the more we're consciously experiencing that, the more we can walk that into the world and bring those qualities of love and compassion, wisdom and patience into this world in so desperate need of these. So thank you very much for coming and joining us this evening. We're going to be starting with the opening mantras. And, we do those each week as an invocation of what our highest nature is. And, perhaps more importantly, to give the mind a refuge, to give the mind a place to go that's free from all the ordinary thoughts and concerns of the day, the week, the month, everything. Set it aside and become absorbed in mantra, because it's the power of mantra, a throb of the infinite itself, that helps to really ease the mind and bring it home to its source. That's really the place where it can find its deepest rest. And so the quiet, the spaciousness, the stillness of simply being, that's where mantra arises from. And that's where it takes us back to as we become absorbed in it. So we'll start with the opening mantras. Shri Mata Kali Mahadevi Ki Jai Gajananam Bhutaganari Sevitam Kalpita Jumbo Palachar Bhakshanam Umasutam Shokam Vinashakarakam Namami Vigneshwara Parapankajam Shri Ganeshayan Namaha Shri Ganeshayan Namaha Shri Ganeshayan Namaha Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate Om Shanti 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 Shri Mata Kali Mahadevi Ki Jai. So once again, I welcome you with all my heart. Thank you for coming this evening. What a wild few weeks it's been, culmination of a crazy period of time. And it feels particularly important to honor the divine feminine, the great mother, the great goddess in all her many forms. Swatantriya Devi is one of her names, and it means she who has unimpeded freedom, unimpeded power. It's the nature of the great goddess of Shakti. And it was interesting that Muktananda Swami, my teacher, when he saw the Statue of Liberty, he thought, that's Swatantriya Devi. That's unimpeded freedom. That's her nature. And so he actually had a statue of the Statue of Liberty, a replica, installed like as Swatantriya Devi outside his tall statue up in the ashram upstate New York. And recognizing that divine feminine, that presence, that has carried us through these tumultuous times and has been so critical both to being able to turn around what's been happening in our country, but it's also the power of the archetype of the feminine, the connectedness, the relatedness, the power of love itself, that we celebrate in that and see, the glorious forms of that energy and that connectedness and that compassion for all beings and how it comes into the universe, including as a stunning 22-year-old Amanda Gordon sharing her poetry that was so moving. So tonight we'll be chanting some of the names of the Divine Feminine in celebration of her grace, her presence that is carrying us through. And that in many ways we really need to bring more and more into the world. It's the disconnectedness that has gotten our world out of balance. It's the disconnectedness that has done the damage to the environment and threatened the whole web of life on this planet. It's the disconnectedness of seeing that that's separate, as we're not part of that. And it's that power of connectivity, that power of loving embrace, that power of seeing, no, we are all one, literally one. Not just connected, we are in unity. So to take care of another is to take care of ourselves. To take care of the planet is to take care of the body of our very being. So bringing that kind of expanded awareness in is so critical so that we can really move through these problems that have grown out of this disconnected, alienated state that has been driving our culture for centuries now, actually. So we'll be invoking the Great Mother in her many forms. And the first chant that we're going to do is a chant that we've done in the past, and it's a chant to Tara Ma, J.J. Tara Ma. And Tara comes both from the Hindu yogic tradition as one of the facets of Ma Kali, but also in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. Tara is the feminine face of sort of Buddha consciousness, of that boundless compassion, empowered to move into the world, to do things to relieve suffering, and to remove obstacles for seekers. And so we have a number of images of Tara here, of course, because we have the two tankas that are Tara, and there's also a statue here of Tara. She's been a part of practices I've done for many years. So invoking that with this chant, Jai Jai Tarama, Jai Jai Tarama, Om Tari Tum Soha. And that mantra, Om Tari Tum Soha, is particular to Red Tara's mantra, Om Tari Tum Soha, an invocation of that inflection of the great divine feminine, who really leaps to bring what a seeker needs to get free. So kind of both a remover of obstacles, but one who brings to the individual what they need to free their mind and their consciousness, so we can bring the fullness of our Buddha nature, our boundless compassion, our boundless awareness, our unity consciousness, and walk that into the world, with every step, with every breath. That's her gift. Om Taritam Soha, Om Taritam Soha. So we'll begin with this mantra, and we'll be chanting in unison. So you chant away wherever you are, turn up the speakers. We don't get to do call and response in Zoom. That would be nice, but technology just isn't there. So we'll be chanting in unison. And then at the end of the chant, we'll just sit for a few minutes just to, again, rest in the stillness. The gift of mantra that opens the spaciousness of simply being being present, being aware on all the levels that our awareness goes from the most expanded down to just where we are here on earth and includes it all, nothing left out. So here we'll begin. Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Om Daritam Sohan Om Daritam Sohan Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Ho Jai Jai Tarama Om Daritam Soha Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha, Jai Jai Dharma, Jai Jai Dharma, Jai Jai Dharma, Jai Jai Dharma, Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha, Jai Jai Dharma, Jai Jai Dharma, Jai Jai Dharma, Jai Jai Dharma, Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha, Jai Jai Dharma, Jai Jai Dharma, Jai Jai Dharma, Jai Jai Dharma, Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha, Jai Jai Dharma, Jai Jai Dharma, Jai Jai Dharma, Jai Jai Dharma, Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha, Om Daritam Soha. Jai Jai Dharma, Jai Jai Dharma. So it's said, in the yogic system that all the mantras and all the forms of the mantras and the seed syllables and sounds that make up mantra, all are forms of Kundalini Shakti. Shakti, the great goddess, who takes all forms, creates all forms, and creates mantra as a way of really manifesting reality, that at root, the throb, the vibration of energy that is the root of even our physical reality, is all Shakti. It's all Shakti. And in the yogic system, that's why mantra in particular, because it's that essential form of the one who has created all this, including creating the illusion of being bound to a mind and to a body. And it's that power of the infinite that conceals its fullness and takes on limitation, that also reveals to itself, again, the truth, that we are the infinite, we are the one, and that's all there is. But it delights in playing at all these forms and taking on all these forms. And there are many different names to the Great Mother, to the Great Goddess around the world. So this next chant is really a chant to the Great Mother, the Goddess, in her many, many forms. It's the names of the Divine Feminine across many different traditions, many different cultures. Right? So it's an invocation of her and how we see her everywhere. We see her in all cultures, in all traditions, and she's holding the entire earth in her embrace. And she is Mother Earth as well. All there is the Great Mother. That's all forms are born from the Divine Feminine, from the Great Goddess. So all forms are her form. It's even said that the form of Shiva is her. She's the one who creates that form. All forms are her form. So this is a chant to Mahadevi, the Great Goddess in her many different forms. So we'll be chanting this, and then at the end, we're just going to go into meditation, because this is a longer chant. You can see there's going to be many verses to it. And then at the end, we'll just rest in that divine embrace. Rest in the living presence of the Great Mother. Rest in her divine love. That is your nature. So we're coming home to that. Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah. Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah. Jaya Mata Kali Devi. Jaya Mata Durga Devi. Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah. Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah. Jaya Saraswati Devi. Jaya Saraswati Devi. Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah. Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah. Jaya Kundalini Shakti. Jaya Kundalini Shakti. Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah. Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah. Jaya Annapurna Devi. Jaya Annapurna Devi. Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah. Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah. Jaya Jaya Parvati Devi. Jaya Jaya Parvati Devi. Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah. Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah. Jaya Mahalakshmi Devi. Jaya Mahalakshmi Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Bhairavi Devi, Jaya Jaya Bhairavi Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Chamundi Devi, Jaya Jaya Chamundi Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Ganga Mahadevi, Jaya Jaya Ganga Mahadevi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Jamuna Devi, Jaya Jaya Jamuna Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Chandrika Devi, Jaya Jaya Chandrika Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Karuna Devi, Jaya Jaya Karuna Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Kalyani Devi, Jaya Jaya Kalyani Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Sita Devi, Jaya Jaya Sita Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Radha Devi, Jaya Jaya Radha Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Rudrani Devi, Jaya Jaya Rudrani Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Brahmani Devi, Jaya Brahmani Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Om Mahadevi, Jaya Jaya Om Mahadevi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Tarama Devi, Jaya Jaya Tarama Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Kuan Yin Devi, Jaya Jaya Kuan Yin Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Kanan Devi, Jaya Jaya Kanan Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Nana Devi, Jaya Jaya Nana Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Isis Devi, Jaya Jaya Isis Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Shekinah Devi, Jaya Jaya Shekinah Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Mother Mary Devi, Jaya Mother Mary Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Mary Magdalena Devi, Jaya Mary Magdalena Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Hekate Devi, Jaya Jaya Hekate Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Demeter Devi, Jaya Jaya Demeter Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Kore Devi, Jaya Jaya Kore Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Sophia Devi, Jaya Jaya Sophia Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Freya Devi, Jaya Jaya Freya Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Black Madonna Devi, Jaya Black Madonna Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Jaya Brigid Devi, Jaya Jaya Brigid Devi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Grandmother Spirit, Jaya Grandmother Spirit, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Our Lady of Guadalupe, Jaya Our Lady of Guadalupe, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Mama Mahadevi, 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 Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Mama Mahadevi, Mama Mahadevi, Mama Mahadevi, Mama Mahadevi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, 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 Mama Mahadevi, Mama Mahadevi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah. Mama Mahadevi, Mama Mahadevi, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah, Jaya Kali Durga Namo Namah. So we end with this prayer. May all our practices truly benefit everyone, and may all beings know complete freedom from suffering. Namaste. And the power of mantra and the power of chanting to bring us into that divine embrace. Actually, to bring us to awareness that we're already in that divine embrace, all times, all places. So taking refuge in the mantras, taking refuge in our own self, our own sublime, loving, boundless nature. So keep coming home to that. Keep coming home to that so the whole body and mind become dyed in the color of that sublime presence. So we can then walk that into the world, bring it into our everyday life, our everyday relationships, our everyday work. Always present, always there. And so coming back to mantra throughout the day, coming back to mantra as we fall asleep at night, wake up in the morning with mantra. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Kali Ma. All with the awareness of Hamsa, I am that. That is my nature. The throb of the infinite. Bring that into the world. So I want to thank you again for coming this evening and bringing the fullness of your divine presence, bringing your commitment to practice to this evening and sharing that with everyone and sharing it with the world as you do, as you walk those practices and the power and strength of that into the world each day. So thank you. Thank you for being that kind of conduit for divine presence. And thank you, of course, for the many ways that you support Anamkar and share what we offer through the YouTube videos and the Anamkar newsletter and supporting us with your donations. All deeply appreciated. Thank you. So have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you again. Namaste.